All right, let's jump right in. In this explainer, we are breaking down global tourism for your AIS geography paper. We're going to connect the big global data to the real-world local impacts to show you exactly how to nail those exam questions. So here's our game plan. Our analysis follows a really clear three-phase story, just like you see on the screen. We'll start with how wealth gets people moving, then we'll look at the economic ups and downs, and finally, we'll get into the social strain that this can cause. Let's get started. Okay, phase one, it all starts with wealth. We're going to explore how money is really the engine of global tourism, and more importantly, how you can use the map in your exam to prove it. Now have a look at this. What's so great about this map is that the connection is just so visually obvious. See those big, thick, red lines? They represent international trips, and you can see they pretty much all start in the darkest colored, wealthiest parts of the world, like North America, Western Europe, and Australia. So listen up, because this is the absolute crucial point for your answer. You need to state this direct, positive relationship. Just writing down that as income per capita goes up, so does the number of international trips. That simple statement, boom, that gets you your first mark. And here is how you lock in the full marks. It's all about that point evidence structure that examiners love to see. You state the rule, and then you prove it using specific data you've pulled straight from the map. Name a high-income country like the USA and contrast it with a moderate-income one, like Brazil, to show you really get it. Okay, let's build on that and move to phase two. Now we're shifting gears a little. We're going from a spatial analysis, looking at a map, to a temporal one, where we analyze the economic ebb and flow of tourism over time. All right, here's our next piece of evidence. Now, whenever a question asks you to compare two sets of data, like tourist arrivals and spending here, you have to find both similarities and differences. And this chart, well, it gives us plenty to talk about for both. When you're making your comparison, a great place to start is with the most obvious thing they have in common. You can see that both bars are above that zero line for almost the entire decade. So that tells us there's a general positive trend, but with one single, very significant dip. Pointing out that 2009 is the only year with negative growth is a solid observation. But if you want a top-tier answer, you need to connect that dot to a real-world event, the 2009 global financial crisis. Making that connection shows a much, much deeper geographical understanding. Now, to really climb into those higher mark bands, you have to get specific with the differences. You need to actually spell out the exact years where spending growth was faster than arrival growth, like in 2008 and 2013, and then contrast that with the years where arrivals grew faster, like in 2010 and 2017. Being that precise is what separates a good answer from a truly great one. And that brings us to our final phase, phase three. This is where the rubber really meets the road. It's where those huge global trends of wealth and economic growth come crashing down into local reality. And that creates some major social problems. I mean, just look at these powerful images of protests in Spain. They're not just pictures. They're your evidence for analyzing the negative impacts of mass tourism. You've got signs reading, "Tourist go home," and "This isn't tourism, it's an invasion." I mean, that tells a very, very clear story, doesn't it? Okay, this is super important. This is the precise academic term you need to use in your answer. Based on the evidence we just saw with those protests, we can say that Spain is in the consolidation/stagnation stage of the tourism life cycle model. And here's exactly how you justify using that term. You have to use these keywords. They show you understand the chain of events. The destination has exceeded its carrying capacity, which then leads to the disruption of daily life, and that, in turn, triggers anti-tourist protests. It's a clear cause and effect relationship. And hey, here's a little pro tip for you, straight from the examiner's notes. Precision is everything. Avoid vague everyday language like overcrowded. It's not going to cut it. Instead, you have to use the correct geographical terminology like exceeded carrying capacity to secure those top marks. So let's bring it all home now. We're going to use our Geographer's Toolkit to quickly recap the full story that we've just felt across all three of these phases. You see, it all fits together into one logical, connected story. High national income drives global travel. That travel creates economic trends in arrivals and spending, and if that growth goes completely unchecked, it can overwhelm a destination, blow past its carrying capacity, and lead directly to the kind of local backlash we saw happening in Spain.
And this really leaves us with a final thought, not just for your essays, but for your analysis in general. As geographers, it's our job to look behind the economic data. Because behind every trend, every graph, and every dollar spent, there is always a human and environmental cost to consider.